and answers.
Thank you, Khalid. Really good presentation, lots of good insights into the process. There's some interesting questions coming up, so I'll read the first one out. While talking with VCs, what did you do to protect your idea? Did you have a patent before starting these conversations? Were you concerned that the VCs that you turned down could steal your idea?
We were in process of filing patents, but you can't keep up with filing patents at the pace you're looking for funding. So it's an well understood trust inside of the valley. You go to the tier 1 guys and pretty much tier 2 guys. It's very well understood that VCs usually don't sign NDAs, but they will respect and protect your ideas. So we never felt by talking to a couple of tier 1 VCs, there were a couple of instances we were not talking to the higher level guys, that we felt that they were, some of them were trying to copy, but it takes a lot more to copy an idea, guys. Technology at 100,000 foot versus 1 foot is a day and night difference. You can see what the software-defined networking can do at 100,000 feet. You see slides presentation from so many people who talk about software-defined networking. You would go dig deeper, you find out there are very serious technological flaws. So when you have an idea and you have a depth of understanding in the area, do not be shy going out to raise funds, because it's not easy to build product out of an idea if you don't have the depth in the industry. So I think we were a little concerned, but we were never nervous, because we knew the team we had has the most depth on building this massive scale networks, and it's not an easy problem to solve by just looking at 5, 10 slides and figuring out how this problem would be solved. And VCs only don't have that level of depth that as you have as an engineer. So don't get nervous about that. Don't make that as a showstopper.
Thank you. Another question is, you mentioned Cisco. Were there any other startup competitors or big boy vendors, right, where you felt those were bigger competition for you?
So I think as I mentioned something earlier, the thing that Viptela was very famous for and was very appreciated was scale. So if you have not worked at scale, it's very difficult to go and challenge in large enterprise. Yeah, we had competitors. We had competitors in the space from the perspective of pure cost savings of using hybrid WAN, which means is you can use an internet circuit and MPLS circuit and do an efficient utilization of those circuits. Viptela did not solve a hybrid WAN problem. Viptela truly solved an SDN problem. And for us, the definition of SD-WAN is any location on demand, arbitrary, dynamic, secure connectivity at scale. The minute scale comes in at that arbitrary, dynamic point connectivity, nobody was matching us. So the only company still, Cisco's had a solution called IWAN, which always came closer to us. But the scale-wise and this on-demand cloud connectivity, for those of you who have some cloud background, the bigger problem of enterprise is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So most SD-WAN vendors came to address software as a service problem, and with hybrid WAN. We said software as a service is no more than 12 to 15% of enterprise applications. The other 80% are still business critical applications for which you need infrastructure and PaaS. And both of them require a much more dynamic on-demand security, because those vendors won't provide you the network level security. So to answer that question, we had some competition. We had a lot of people addressing the market, but where we shine was simplicity, scale, and security. So the only closest competitor till the end we had was Cisco.
Until you reached Sequoia, how did you keep your team and yourself motivated during the failed attempts with initial VCs for funding?
If you have 100% belief in your idea, there was not a single person in the team who did not believe in the idea. When you remember this, guys, when you're creating a new category, you have to be 100% sure. We knew we were creating a new category. Rejection was something that we knew that the industry will realize. I still remember our first call with an analyst after Sequoia funding. They said, you guys are creating WAN optimization box, but well, WAN optimization, because of the new cloud architecture, is going to be a market which will go down. And we were trying to educate him that this is not WAN optimization. This is a new category of software-defined wide area network, which is different than software-defined data center. So there was not a single individual in the team who did not believe in the idea. We were convinced that at some point, somebody who has the depth of understanding in what is happening in this transition will see it. And that's exactly what happened. When we went to Sequoia Capital, they had people with very strong software-defined networking understanding. So there was not a single individual in team who got demotivated, because we knew that this is a new category and it will take a while for people to realize, and if you don't have the depth.
Great. So looking back at your career, back to 2001 and what you've achieved so far, what would you have done differently to accelerate your achievements today in a startup?
That is a time has gone, so I wouldn't say I would have done anything differently. I think that experience that I got from different customers, different network setups, was always something that the experience I was getting is I wouldn't have given up for anything. So I think the experience exposure, I wouldn't have done anything differently. I think I wouldn't have done anything differently.
Great. So another question is, what are the opportunities for services companies in IoT if the company doesn't have a product?
So guys, the future is in services and automation. So if you are looking at the space, you need to understand how all these systems need to be automated, how these systems need to be deployed, how you start looking at these products that are deployed out there, how you can provide efficient automation and services to those elements. So I think that the complexity of the systems, the complexity of these deployments, just imagine the vendors like Cisco, we will produce products that will scale those massive endpoints, but somebody needs to operate, manage, and run those systems. So I think there is a tremendous amount of opportunity in the services market. If you look at our technology, simply look at Viptela. What we have done, we have given people capabilities to build a competitive product to a tier 1 service provider. You can literally use a Viptela product to go compete with a tier 1 MPLS provider by buying commodity circuits and local points and putting a Viptela product at these large service provider co-locations, and you can compete with a tier 1 service provider. So the opportunity of providing this type of services, and then you can combine different products to say, I can give you IoT protection services. So I think the opportunities are continuing to grow. We have a lot of players in our space who are now looking at competing with a tier 1 service provider without even having that much investment of a typical tier 1 service provider.
Thank you, Khalid. Another question is, how did the availability of cloud services like Azure, AWS, and Google help you get off to a quick start with implementing your solution? And did you see that as competition?
No. So that was our selling point for our product. So I'll tell you what, if you 10 years from now, you wanted to build a development and testing environment for a customer to see that your product works at scale. One of our customers who were major financial told us that I will have 6,000 endpoints in my network, and I want you to show me that your product will scale to 6,000 endpoints. Guess what we did? We used cloud infrastructure. We spun up our network at so many different locations at AWS, and we were able to show customer real live network performance with including latency, delay from site to site. We had few thousand deployed in Ireland, few thousand deployed in Portland. So we had so many locations where we had deployed our software to prove it to our customer that we can scale up to 6,000 locations in a real live network. So many tools that are available in the cloud for which you had to do a permanent investment and wait and make it work. You didn't have to do it. It took us a much shorter time to go do that scale and deployment than versus would have taken us. So for us, those were tools that were very powerful. And the second thing from our perspective, those are not our competitors. We provide you a service called Cloud On-Ramp. You will be able to spin up the burst compute and extend your wide area seamlessly into the cloud and utilize Viptela product, because that's the point I was making. You should be able to create an on-demand arbitrary point connectivity to consume any services, especially infrastructure and platform as a service. So no, those are not our competitors. Those were the biggest of our biggest enablers for our success.
Thank you. Khalid, one last question, and then we'll move on. What are your thoughts on artificial intelligence building smart contracts over blockchain for IoT devices? Can Viptela secure those transactions?
Yeah, that's so I don't have much depth in that area, space guys. I mean, I would not be able to give comment on something that I don't have a depth on.
Thank you, Khalid. So with that, folks, a couple of you have asked if this session is being recorded. Yes, it is. And if you registered, certainly we will be sending you an email with the recording link. Really appreciate the overwhelming response to our very first session that Zahir and I and some others have been able to launch today. Just for your reference, we have participants and registrants from 10 countries. I totally understand not everybody could attend because of timing or something else that came up. But as I said, if you are able to register, make sure you provide your email and your contact so we can send you a recorded link. 113 people from 113 companies have registered, and so, you know, for your benefit, if you do register on time with your email and your contact information, we will be sending you the recorded link for future listening if you're not able to participate on time at the real time. I would like to maybe now start with a poll. We have a very interesting poll for you. Obviously, with the folks that we bring for your benefit, some of these folks are very busy, but with loads of experience, many years of experience, industry experience. Some with startups, some with corporate leadership, others with entrepreneurial access to VCs and ideas. Would you be interested in fee-based consulting for your startup? Quick poll. I've just started it. If you can, please provide your response. We've got 47% of you have voted. Request the rest to please vote as well. Okay. I am going to close the poll.